All right. How you doing today, David?
Good. How you getting along?
Great, great, great. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you taking the time. We know you traveled a long way. So we'd like to sit down today and talk with you a little bit about your business. First thing I want to ask you is what type of business do you operate? What's the name of your business? And what is your role? What do you do?
So I operate Turtle Winery. We're a winery out of the Pacific Northwest, out of Walla Walla. And I am the owner, janitor, winemaker. I do it all.
So pretty much all around, just everywhere.
Yep, everything.
All right. Well, how'd you get it? Let me ask you this. What is your educational background?
Winemaking. So I went to Washington State University for their winemaking program in 2009. It's been a while. And then I spent the last decade or so in the wine industry, hopping around the world. I've worked here up in the Pacific Northwest a bunch, down in California, and gotten to do some international experiences that were pretty fun.
All right, well, that actually takes me right into my next question for you. What is a little bit about your work background?
Oh yeah, just that. So I started making wine senior year of college, actually. I skipped out on a semester to go make wine. And then from then I've just been in the industry, popping around. I worked in New Zealand for a little bit, Australia, down in Napa, some pretty fancy wineries down there, and also some big old wineries, so I've really gotten to see a lot of the industry. It's been really cool.
All right, well, taking that path and working around as many places that you have to have probably run across some people who've helped you out. So if you had anybody, any kind of mentors or influences that have helped you along the way?
Yeah, I lucked out. My very first internship, I had a great viticulture guy. Colin Morell is his name, and he was just fantastic and a great boss to work for. But along the way too, you meet so many people, and you really learn that you can't do a business by yourself either. So I've had so much help even in more recent years with the people up in Walla Walla. I've got some great friends there, Leonard and Chris. So if you're up in Walla Walla, definitely check out all the fun wineries because it's a great community.
That's awesome. So here at Turtlesmith, we really, do try to help people start small businesses. A lot of it's for, to make sure that they're financially secure, but a lot of times it's to make sure that they just do something they love doing. How about you? Do you love what you do?
This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Yeah, I love winemaking. I've known since 12 years old this is what I wanted to do. So to get to call myself a winemaker it still makes me really excited.
So let me ask you this: what's the best part about your job?
Gosh, as weird as it sounds, I love the harvest, the really long harvest days. A 24-hour work day, and you're just tired to the bone and covered in sticky grape stuff. And you feel like, why do I do this to myself? But then you see all the wine in its barrel or in its little home, and you just, something feels great on the inside.
So then on the flip side of that, because a lot of people would, kind of take that and say, okay, that's the worst part about my job. What is the worst part about your job?
The one thing they don't tell you when you get into winemaking is that it's 90% cleaning things. So you spend so much time cleaning stuff, from top to bottom to it. So I'd say cleaning out the drain trap is my least favorite thing of the job.
Would you recommend your industry to other people?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's no shortage of passion in our industry either, too. So people just seem to find their way to wine from all walks of life.
Well, talking about the passion of it, there's a lot of people that I know do pour their hearts into winemaking. It sounds like you're in that group as well.
Yeah.
And so you tend to take things probably a little bit more sensitively than you may in some other areas or arenas, just working a regular 9 to 5. What would you say has been the biggest failure so far in your business or career?
So yes, passions do run high in the industry for sure, but for me, I think my biggest mistake is I just made all the mistakes when I started a business. There's no guide or at least there wasn't for me, a guide to this situation. And so you make every little mistake, and then you get calls from the government, and they're like, hey, remember that paperwork we wanted? And you're like, no, I don't know anything about it. But each mistake also kind of takes you to the next step, and so I guess there's something to failing upward.
Well, on the flip side of that, then, what would you say is the biggest success so far in your business?
Yeah, really putting my faith into other people. I've always been so kind of by myself, and even it's just a very small company with me up there, and but so many people have been willing to reach out and help and help you support the brand. You'd be amazed how many just local people want to come out and see what you're doing. They're just so excited, So definitely putting my faith in others has been one of the best things I've ever done.
So it sounds like there is quite a bit of a community feel in the winemaking community as well. So I'll give you this chance. What advice would you give to someone else following in your path?
Oh gosh, don't do it. No, it's so much fun. It's hard to give great advice. You kind of just got to get your hands dirty, and be willing to do that. I would say if you can find a mentor, somebody who can kind of help you along in the industry, that's definitely going to be a big support for you.
All right. So just switching over here real quick, we're going to just ask a few questions more specific to the business itself. My first question here is, where did you get your initial funding to start up the business?
So I did not do any source funding. I had a very small budget, and I just kind of went for it. I just had a very small budget, and I just went for it. It's not a great answer to that question.
No, that's an excellent answer. How long into your business broke even?
It's not like the kind of thing where it just happens all at once. It takes a long time, and especially in an industry as slow as the wine business. So we tend to have good months and bad months, and it's very seasonal and like that too, especially when you're looking at wines to be sold year to year.
How long until you were making enough to live on and be comfortable?
I'll let you know.
And then what kind of planning and preparation did you do to start your business?
My whole life had been kind of pushing towards becoming a winemaker and I guess winery owner. So the preparation there was really just everything I was doing, and then I laid that straight into the industry. Now, the one thing I wish I had done is definitely gotten some better information on how just operating a business works and what to expect in that regards. For that, I did not plan very well. But for everything else, it was just a matter, of course, of what I was already doing.
All right, so just thinking of all the highlights or so far in your business, what would you say is your big break?
The first commercial sale I made was so exciting for me. I was so nervous for the pitch meeting, but I wound up with two local ladies in Walla Walla who bought my wine, but more importantly, they just kind of took my pitch seriously, and it was so heartwarming, so like inspirational that it made reaching out and trying to sell the wine so much easier for me.
And what are some of your long and short-term goals with the business?
Long term, I'd really like to open up multiple tasting rooms. We're looking at kind of having more independent facilities. We do a shared facility right at the moment, which has a lot of benefits. So I'm not too trying to rush that too much, but eventually I'd like to own an entire cellar and vineyard and have multiple tasting rooms around the state. So.
Awesome. Would you say that there are any regulatory hurdles affecting your business?
Just a ton. Because we're in the alcohol industry, so many of our laws come down, even still from Prohibition. We have laws that I remember asking my liquor board officer about, and he's like, yeah, those are from 1940, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, we have two different alcohol regulatory boards. Right now I'm dealing with the health board for opening our tasting room, and Same, of course, fire and building services will be out soon as well. So we just have a bunch of regulatory hurdles to the point where we actually have a whole nother industry within our industry, which is basically someone who handles all that regulation for you.
So what are, I know, as far as I know about winemaking, I know the process is pretty tedious, and like you said, there's a lot of cleaning because you have to make sure that you follow certain standards, and also you don't affect the quality of the wine. What would you say that some of the biggest risk factors are to your industry?
Oh man, that's a great question. There's little risks that are intermingled throughout the year. When you're buying fruit, you're kind of speculating on a crop that you don't really know how it's going to turn out just yet. And so you're kind of spending money before you've got that quality in your wine barrel. So there's kind of a big risk there. Also, one of the biggest risks is how much should we make? There's a great quote from a winemaker up where I'm at, who said, I knew I could make money as long as I sold every bottle. And he was right. He just kept slowly expanding his business, being able to sell every bottle. But if you can't sell every bottle, it becomes a kind of a big issue. So speculating on how much you're going to make, what you're going to make, how you're going to bring it to market, there's quite a few risks.
So have you ever been close to bankruptcy?
Well, yes. We had a pretty rough first start, because I have such a limited budget, and just trying to make a splash into the industry with so many big boys already, playing the game. It was really a big challenge just to get the name out there. Every trade show that I was at was like, it helped my make or break my month, basically. So I definitely felt the pressure there, but I also think that kind of just helps propel you forward in a way. When you see that your account is so low that you're thinking, how can we go on? It really motivates you to say, okay, well, where can I take my business? And how can I make that next step?
I can definitely attest to that. I spent some time working, about a year or so working in the Pacific Northwest as a bartender. And so I found out at that point there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of competition in the wine industry, just in that area of the country, just due to the grow conditions and things like that. So with that in mind, how do you find customers, and how do you advertise in the midst of all of that competition?
Well, you can't knock social media, obviously, because it's your best, freest outlet, and you can make and create content right in the moment. So that's definitely been kind of our big push, has been wanting to get more and more social media following. But really, just any kind of interaction you can get with a customer in our industry. Like I said, we did a bunch of trade shows, just getting the name out there, handing people cards. Any kind of experience too that you can give the customer. That's really what I think people are looking for in our industry, is not just a good wine, but an experience that they can have to associate with that wine.
Yeah, excellent. I do know that a lot of the customer facing things that you do is ultimately what kind of drives the bottom line, but any company is also going to be built on the work and the work ethic of the workers and the owners and managers. How do you manage relationships with your employees and partners?
That I was never very good at that as a younger man, and so I think I just learned from realizing that, maybe you're not the best at it. But I do have a friend who's really great at it and who teaches classes on, customer interactions. And he was kind enough to let me do his coursework. And I'll tell you, just talking about it, and creating a plan around how you want to be, and then being that role model. If you want people to be kind to you, then show that kindness yourself.
Awesome. So is your business involved with the community around you in any type of way?
Absolutely, yeah. So locally, we like to do we'd like to do more stuff, but we've done a few things with the city. But our big kind of community draw is for sea turtles. We donate to well, it's actually a global relief effort for the sea turtles to try and help save a turtle.
Hey, buy turtle wine, save a turtle.
Absolutely.
And then now I want to ask you a question specifically about you personally. Do you have any type of a self-care plan in place to deal with the stresses of running a business?
Absolutely not. No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, we call it taking care of ourselves, but you do got to plan a little bit when you've got crushing harvest days and sales days, and they're all kind of clumping together. Skipping meals or not getting enough sleep can be just devastating. So trying to make a plan and keeping yourself healthy is the best advice I have, because it just seems like the business runs you sometimes.
Fair enough. Well, lastly, how can people out there find you and more information on your business?
Yeah, please go to turtlewines.com and check us out on our social medias on Instagram at turtlewines and Facebook at turtlewines. So.
Well, David, thank you very much for sitting down today and answering our questions.
Thank you.